What's up, Jim?
There we go. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
All went well.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I am glad that I spent the money to have the photographer. Things look really
Sure.
good, and he did a great job and, helped us uh helped us so it wasn't like crazy all over the place. So,
Yeah. Nice.
what's new in your world, dude?
Um, well, I've been working on those numbers for the redevelopment project. They're not
Mhm.
pretty off the bat, so now I'm kind of to the point of I need to have some others look at them, and I want to clean them up a little bit still, but a little disappointed that it doesn't look like it's unlikely going to happen. So
Hmm.
now it's like, okay, where do I go from here?
Yeah, I hear you, dude. That's hard though.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I have a park and here, it's probably here. Okay, so I have this park, right? And some friends of mine were looking to basically we're gonna do like an equity swap, right? So the old owners, including me, were going to owner finance with like 200 down, and we're gonna sell for like 365, so we're gonna finance like 165. And so like a couple friends of mine were like, yeah, we want to take this down, but we want to keep Tim in this because he knows the park and he can, you know, operate it. And so we had a goal of doing 300 and like 360, I want to say, or 350, something where it's like 200 down, and then we'd have all this operating reserves and money to put into like bringing homes in. And really, the money wouldn't be so much for bringing homes in, like as much as there'd be like cleaning up the park and stuff like that, like we are probably just gonna do like a 21st mortgage thing to bring homes in. But anyway, what's crazy, so we've been working on this. I told my friends, I was like, dude, I'm not a capital raiser. If you guys can bring the money in, I'll continue to run it, like no problem. And yeah, they just weren't able to raise. I talked to one person. Well, I talked to a few people, and one person wanted to put money in, but yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, well, on to the next project. I mean, obviously, I'm still in that deal and running it, and it's totally on the upswing. But yeah, okay, let's pivot, right? One thing didn't work, so I think that's the
Yep.
business. You got to pivot.
Yep. For sure.
So, um, let's see. Just looking at these, I know. Let's see this one. I think I've talked to this person before. Mm, is there anything that you guys want me to call about, like, or like anything you guys have been looking at that something that interests you guys that we can call the broker together and see what's up? I have talked to this person, and this is crazy talk. Um, Actually, I think the last one of these I did, which is like a couple weeks ago, or probably a month ago, I think I called this person and I didn't get in touch with them on the call, but they talked to me later, and I was like, it just the numbers didn't make sense. It's in a crappy MSA. Which isn't it's not a deal breaker MSA, but it's you'd want to get a deal sort of MSA. But yeah, I'm not crazy about it. Um, so yeah, does anyone else have anything? Freddie, anyone? No? Okay. And have we met before? What's your name? Clivia?
Hey, I'm sorry, you were frozen and you just came on.
Wait, say
Yeah,
that again?
you were frozen, and so you just came on. Oh,
Oh, Weird.
Sorry, I'm gonna turn off video because I think it's delaying it's causing everything to freeze.
Okay.
Uh, but
Uh,
yeah, nice to meet you. It's my first time joining this Clivia. You said that right. Um,
ah,
thanks for setting it up. I am just starting to go down the kind of the multi-family path. So I am going to be a fly on the wall and just looking forward to learning. I'm just starting to do broker outreach recently in the last couple weeks.
mhm.
So really just want to understand how the conversations go, what to ask. Um, yeah.
Sweet.
So thanks for setting
What?
it up. And I have to, so I'm gonna have to jump off and have at like by 10:30 for a work call, but
Okay.
I'm
Where
out.
where are you and where are you looking?
So I'm in Northern Virginia. Um, and I'd like to look in the Southeast region, just to stay close to my area geographically, but I think the immediate area, Northern Virginia, is just way too expensive. Uh,
Mhm. Mhm.
but there's West Virginia is probably a good place to look, and then going down south, right? So Tennessee, North and South Carolina.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
are you looking at um oh, are you looking at like traditional multifamily?
Yeah. Yeah. Traditional multifamily. And I think the like 25 to 50 unit range.
Okay.
I don't know if that's starting big or small, but to me, I'm like, if I'm gonna do,
I think
four,
that's perfect, dude.
I might as well do 20.
Yeah. I think that's perfect. And let's see. So let's see if we can narrow this down a little bit. Um, yeah, I'd say, um, go for that, like stick with that, and then just, know whatever market, So it's all about, for me, it was all about like, let's narrow this down a lot. And I didn't realize that for a long time, to be honest. But it has like, so I was looking at like RV parks, mobile home parks, apartments, and my goal at the beginning of this year was I want to get, more mobile home parks. I want an apartment, and I wanted a residential assisted living. Now I got the apartment, and then like I just realized that I was pulling myself in too many directions. There's also a part of me who wanted to buy a business, and now I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna keep buying mobile home parks because that's what I'm good at. Um, but yeah, dude, let's see.
Can I ask you why mobile home parks?
I like them. There's a lower expense ratio. You got sticky tenants. You've got people who, hope best case is they own their own home and they take care of their own home. And so, you don't have a whole ton of expenses. I like that people, and this is best case scenario. It's not always, but I like that they like care because it's the neighborhood that they're going to live in for a long time. It's
Mm,
not like people in my apartment, and granted it's a lower end apartment, but they don't give a shit. And like, to be
mhm.
honest, I've lived in nice apartment complexes and stuff like that, and it's the same thing. It's not that like it's just awful, but it's like in the grand scheme of things, they don't care as much because it's not theirs.
That's right. That's so in the mobile homes, people are you would well, like what's the percentage you think that own or does everyone own their mobile home?
Everyone doesn't, but I try and sell them to them. So like
Yeah.
I own homes out of necessity because it's easier for me to be able to bring in a new home than it would be for like someone to move their home in because it's pricey, right? Um, so like what I've done, I'll bring in new homes or used homes, whatever, and then I will like lease with an option to purchase the homes to people.
Oh,
So it's really rent to own, but I structure it lease with an option, so I'm a little bit more protected. But
yeah.
I feel like the Woodland apartments have been available for a long time. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Um, so we're looking at 25 to 50. I don't. I like Memphis. I want to buy some parks around Memphis. Um, yeah, that's the Mississippi, right? It is right on the Mississippi. My,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's why. Long term, I like the idea of like cheap transportation across the country, and like the Mississippi, is the big river. So
Mm-hmm.
I like the South. I'm probably not going to go up to the north around the lakes and whatnot, or the Midwest, but I do like the South, and I don't know. I've been eyeing Memphis. Um, so yeah, anything stick out that you're like, hey, let's call them.
Nope, just pick one.
Love it. Dude, that's
Yeah.
what I do. That's what I do.
Although I'm intrigued by the mobile home low expense rate. So do you have anything that's equivalent to a turnover ratio?
Um, I don't know. I don't know yet. So like a lot of like the past 6 months, or really the past 3 months has been like me, um, like building my business better so I can have a better idea of the key metrics. Um, it's low though, man. It's low. Like I can speak on individual parks. So like my first park that I've had 4 years, so there's like 36. I'd say like three or four have moved and or been evicted in 4 years. Then my second park doesn't count because it's a big value add. My third park, like we bought and it's 55 units, 51 tenants, and we've owned for like a year. I think maybe one move out, but like they all own their homes. So they
Yeah.
moved out and they sold it to someone else. And then we just, put them directly into Buildium, and it's like no loss of rent. Um,
Okay.
but yeah. I don't know. Let's call this person because I 100% remember speaking with them, and so I'm curious.
Okay.
Okay, so oh yeah, I remember talking to him, and he was like hard selling me on like the possibility of it.
Hmm.
So let's see. Yeah, I even have him in my phone.
Calling Woodyard Realty. How may I direct your call?
Hey, can I speak with Steve Woodyard, please?
Morning. One moment, please.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So after I put everything in here, I try and put stuff in Podio. You can see I'm not great at checking everything, but it's just. Hey, Steve.
Hello. Yeah,
Hey, Steve. This is Tim Woodbridge, calling you about Woodland Apartments. How's it going?
I'm well, Tim. How are you?
I'm good. I remember talking to you a while ago, and it looks like this is still sitting on the market. What's going on, man?
Well, it's supposed to close any day now.
Mm.
Probably going to have a little bit of an extension, is my guess. But lenders have been a little tricky with this. But this qualified for a tax savings, property tax savings thing the city offers. So that took a little bit of time to get done, but that's going to save them probably $100,000 a year in taxes, or probably not that much, probably $50,000, $60,000 a year in taxes. So that was a good thing. So I feel like it's going to close, but hadn't closed yet. But we have others. Kind of remind me what you're looking for.
I like 25 to 50 units around the Memphis area is what I'm looking at right now. I'm on Crexy. I'm seeing the Broadmoor apartments too. How's that going?
Same story, under contract, supposed to close this month. Lenders are supposed to give us a date, which we think is going to be around next week or a little bit into the week after.
Man, oh, don't get me started. I just closed the property a couple weeks ago, and I I get it. I know their game. I know, they have to have all the boxes checked, but it was like killing me, I swear.
Oh, they're painful.
Mm.
It is just painful, is the only way to describe it at this point.
Yeah, and I had they also, so this was for a mobile home park, and the lender needed a loss of income, 12 months loss of income for everything from the insurance. And almost no, it was a very rural park. It was very difficult to get, but they wouldn't close unless we either had that or had a year of debt service in the bank. So it was crazy.
Yeah, I know. They're just creating stuff now to delay. We've had them back out on written loan commitments. It's kind of like, hey, do you remember that written loan commitment we gave you? We're not going to commit to that anymore.
You're like, hey,
Good news is we'll make you a loan, but we need 20% more down, and we're going to raise your interest rate.
yeah, you're like, hey, let's define the word commitment because y'all aren't keeping.
Exactly.
um,
Exactly. Hey, here's what you can do though. You can go to our website and you can see what we actively have. It's got a lot more information than Crexie has.
mhm.
And go to Woodyard. Are you in front of your computer now? I can help you get there.
Yes, sir.
Go to www.woodyard, WOODYARD, realty.com.
Cool. So what else you have that you're looking to, I mean, sell? I mean, I know I can look on here, but what's top of mind for you that might work out well?
Well, a couple. I've got one with assumable financing in that same market as Woodland and Broadmoor, which is a very good little market.
Mm-hmm.
Do this. Go to the top of the page and click View Properties.
Mm-hmm.
And then right below the picture of the river and the downtown view, it'll say Grid View.
Mm-hmm.
Click on Grid,
Mm-hmm.
and then that will line them up kind of for you by price. So it's got the highest price, biggest properties first.
Of course, I know how your game is.
But But if you scroll down, like there's a good, clean, easy one that's got a Freddie Mac non-recourse assumable loan at 207 Barksdale. That's in that same submarket
Okay.
as the Broadmoor and Woodland.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you see that one?
Yeah, the 10 unit, yeah.
Yeah. So just for fun, click on the name 207 Barksdale.
Mm-hmm.
Then the top right-hand corner of the page, you'll see Document Portal.
Yes, sir.
So that's where you create an account for yourself. When you click on that, it'll ask you who you are, give us your name, telephone number, that sort of thing. But you only have to do that once, and it'll remember you every time you come back. And then it will grant you all access to all documents, rent rolls, income expense reports, area information, sales comp, rent comp, all of that is on the website for you.
Sweet. Okay, I'll look through this. Do you got anything that you're having difficulties selling? I'm having a lot of success this year getting stuff closed that no one else can by getting a little bit creative.
What kind of creativity are you referring to?
I mean, depends. I've had a seller carry the whole thing with a down payment. I've had the seller carry an equity position, meaning I'm getting bank financing for a lot of it, and then they're carrying a equity position on the side so we can bring in less money so the returns are better. I had a sell that same thing, except a seller carry a promissory note on the side. Man, I'm open for conversation.
How are you getting the financing done with that seller participation on the equity side, whether it's a note or?
So I just got it done with Vanderbilt Mortgage on this mobile home park I just closed, and it was all in the operating agreement, right? So he's carrying an equity position. So let's see. He carried, it's substantial, probably a 25% equity position, and it's just all baked into the operating agreement. The lender obviously looked over the operating agreement, gave the good to go on that. I mean, we still brought in some money, so we had some skin in the game. But yeah, man. They, you know, they approved it.
Okay. I don't have anything at the moment, but let me think about that. We have done similar arrangements before, all approved by the lender, et cetera, kind of like what you're saying. But get the sellers are usually a little afraid, and then they talk to their attorneys, and then they're terrified.
Ain't that the truth?
So, but yeah, we have done those before. So let me think about that, and if we have anything. Once you go into that document portal and check on some properties, it'll tell me that you're in there, and that'll put you on my list to just show you deals. And so then you'll kind of start seeing what we have. Typically the tougher ones, kind of like you're describing, owners might start considering that. Like for instance, on the website now, it's under contract at the moment. But the seller has two properties, one called Pine Tree, one called Rain Tree on our website down toward the bottom. All the stuff on the bottom will say under contract. So like, it's under contract. Doesn't mean it's going to close. It just lets you know, you don't want to spend your time on stuff under contract. But the quick thing on this one, he's got two properties. One's about 120 units, one's about 76 units, about 5 minutes apart in the same C grade. This is low, moderate income C grade property. That he'll do financing on 100% of one if you close the other with cash.
Interesting. Why do we got to close the other with cash?
The way his tax treatment is going to work out, it's advantageous for him to get cash on one and to finance the other.
Okay, interesting. Is that cash at
like an equity participation or a second mortgage on the first one? He's going to finance 100% of the second.
That makes sense. When he says cash, is it like all cash at close so I could get a loan on it? Or is he like, no, you have to have all this cash?
No, you can get a loan.
Okay. Just making sure.
As long as he gets
Yeah.
cash.
Yeah. Okay. I'm looking at it right now. Which one does he want cash for and which one is he going to finance?
Excuse me. Pine Tree is the one that probably needs the most work, and that is the one he would want cash for because he figures you're going to get a renovation loan anyway. That one, from people that have looked at that property, people have said, "Hey, I'll spend $5,000 a unit, basically improve it a little bit on the exterior. It's going to need roofs in the next 5 to 7 years. It's going to need some siding work." He has put in new stairwells, which is nice. And the units are C grade, just okay. This clientele, maybe even like your trailer park clientele, they're blue collar workers. The airport is nearby, so they're working at the FedEx World Hub, loading trucks, trains. They're, in the warehouse, driving forklifts. Amazon's got 5 or 6 locations within 10 minutes of there that pays pretty well.
Nice.
But they're blue collar jobs, blue collar salaries, just bread and butter kind of people. Jobs and employment are good, but they often live paycheck to paycheck in that kind of world.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
So you'll have a little difficulty with collections here and there, particularly around Christmas. And then, but otherwise, they go to work every day, come home, wake up and do it again.
Yeah, I respect it, man. I know that lifestyle. Well, cool. I like that. I like the ability to get creative. Let me run some numbers and and kind of get back to you guys and throw you an LOI and see, if we can even get close, if it's something we can work on. And yeah, man, I'm like,
just recall that's the one that is under contract.
Yeah. I'll wait on really. Yeah, how about I'm going through the document portal. How about you send me information if it falls out, just so I don't spend a whole ton of time on it. And otherwise, man, send me anything else.
If you look at that property, that'll automatically tell us you're interested in that property, and then when something happens, it goes out to everyone that's logged in.
Perfect. All right. I'm doing it, my friend. Perfect.
We try to automate everything because we cannot remember everything.
You don't have to tell me that, man. Cool. Well, yeah. I will look through your website, and if I got any questions, man, I'll shoot you an email.
Okay, and I may have a mobile home park coming up here soon as well, in a pretty good area. We're kind of trying to figure out, they're in the middle of a divorce, so
Mm.
trying to figure out how that turns out. So really nothing to do at the moment other than know that's going to come up. I think it was, it's been a bit since I've looked at it. I think it was somewhere around, it was less than 50 pads, but the park was expandable up to around 100 pads, as I recall. It's currently not in operation. It has not been in operation for a while. However, the owner was smart. She got one lady on that owned her own trailer renting a pad. And, it was its own impact. Otherwise, zoning would disappear because they don't like mobile home parks in this part of the country. So when you have one, it's like having a bit of a franchise.
Yeah.
It'll need some roads, it'll need new utilities, it'll need a new septic system, all of that. But I have the feeling after this divorce, she's going to sell it pretty cheap.
Yeah, man. I am 100% interested. And yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah. So why don't you put a note in your calendar just to follow up with me? Like I said, this is a divorce situation, so and I know assets are kind of frozen at the moment, so they cannot do anything at the moment. But they're thinking maybe by March 1 they should have some kind of settlement.
That's perfect. I will put that in my calendar.
All right, well, sounds good. Let's stay in touch. Let me know if you see something that interests you on the website. We've got a couple of opportunities like that 207 Barksdale that's got the Freddie Mac assumable loan on it. That's non-recourse, meaning no personal liability. Fully assumable, it's like less than 4% interest. It's got another 7-8 years left on the mortgage. But the interesting part to you might be that same owner owns the one called Tucker Place, which is just a couple of blocks over. So maybe a way to work some magic on that one. Maybe you don't put equity on much equity. I guess you'll have to have some equity on the assumption because Freddie Mac probably wouldn't approve it. But maybe we work in that second one on Tucker Place to do something creative, in some form or fashion. Just letting you know it's the same owner mainly.
I love that, dude. I love it. Yeah, I'll creative is my middle name right now. You gotta be.
Yeah, and those are very good areas. Like my children live in that area.
Okay. All right, yeah. Let me check it out, and like I said, I'll get back to you. I will put in my calendar right now to give you a call around March, or probably mid-February for the that mobile home park.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, Steve. Thanks so much. Have a good one.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Look at me. I'm like fucking out of bed hair. I'm like totally like not showered this morning. I look like a wild person, I feel. So what'd you guys think? Questions, comments?
That was an awesome phone call, man. It's crazy how, what could have ended as just like okay, well, thanks for the info. You just kind of kept digging. And you're like, do you have anything that I could get creative on? And I love how when you said that, he was like, well, what kind of creative are we talking? and then you gave actual examples, and I feel like the conversation turned at that point because it wasn't just like a, hey, can we get creative? And you don't have an idea of how to. You showed examples of this is how I got creative, and it got his wheels turning to say like, oh, well, I have this and this and this.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, cause okay, I think like, you know, the like Pace Morby and like everyone's like, oh, how can I sub to this? How can I get in for like 0? And it's like that it can work, but like there's a lot of people doing it thinking, oh, like this is gonna be like no problem, I'll come in. And so I feel like there's a lot of brokers who are like calling like bullshit on it because it is sometimes, like a lot of times. So I was at a local meetup, and they brought in a closing attorney, and they were talking about sub 2, and they were like, look, like this should be your last option because it's not like it's not safe for the seller, it's not safe for the buyer. It's
Mhm.
not like it's not doable. It's just it's another tool in your tool belt. But you know, it's what is it? If you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail, sort of thing. So it's like you have to expand yourself. So yeah, just being like, well, we could do it like this, we could do it like this, we could do it like this. Like I'm negotiable. Let's see what the seller would be more interested in, you know, because everyone has a different thing. So yeah,
I
I love
I
stuff.
also love the question like, what are you having trouble selling?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was a good one because it's like, you know, sometimes that stuff hits the back burner for those people because they're like, oh, I'm never going to sell that. It's been on market for 700 days and the seller won't move. So I think that got him thinking down the track of like, you know, I don't, from what I remember of that, it didn't really lead to anything, but I feel like with other brokers, maybe it would because it's like, well, I've got this shopping center and this seller. Oh, those are the ones where like when the broker's kind of given up, it's a good opportunity to kind of inject yourself and say like, well, why don't we figure out how to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I realize I make money by solving problems. So
Mhm.
like, I don't know. It's just one of the, it and more for me, like a selfish reason. I'm like, that's what gets me excited. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like no one else can do this. Like let's figure this shit out. Um, so yeah. Um,
Sorry, this will be the last little thing, but that document portal was awesome. I've never seen that before on a broker site. I don't know if that's like a normal thing, but and especially because you'd already been on it before, like that's very helpful to be able to just click in the rent rolls and everything and not have to go through the broker and then take 20 days to get it back to you. Like that's super helpful.
yeah, like bigger and like well put together brokers do this.
Okay.
And it's not always like what it seems like. It's like they have a you know like a back end where only they can see the stuff, and then they have like a, you know, okay, here I'll send you the link, you know, sign the OM or like e-sign the or the sorry the uh
NDA.
NDA, thank you, sign, you know, e-sign the NDA, and then you get all the stuff. But then like so Dylan from Marcus and Millenchab, like he sent me links. He's like, okay, here's like basically everything we have on this, you know, here's the back end stuff. um and then like, but if I look at that same deal on their website, and like I get a lot less stuff. So I'm sure there's different levels, but yeah, it's smart, man. So it's not like, I mean, just like you were saying, make your life easier, right?
Yeah, and on the
Um,
back end, they know to ask you, like, because they see that you've logged into that, so they know to call you. And then, like, if you have extra questions, or you could even, I know, like, I look at stuff and then I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then something else pops up and I completely forget about it. So
mhm,
actually, like,
mhm,
when the broker calls and is like, hey, you were looking at this, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I was looking at that.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, and I've had the same with like on mobilehomeparkstore.com, or Cruxy. It's like, hey, you were looking at this, just wanted to see your interest. And I'm like, bro, remind me what this is, and then we'll like talk and have a good conversation. I had okay, one of these, maybe like a couple months ago on one of these calls, I called someone who like I left a message for a broker for, it was like a Texas RV park or something. I don't remember the details. Oh, no, actually, I had the call. I had the call on this and we talked with him and everything. He called me like a week later. He's like, "Hey, I just want to know what you're thinking." And I'm like, "Bro, tell me about this deal again." And he's like, "Ha ha ha, you have so many deals that like you don't even remember this." I'm like, "Dude, I wish I was a joke, but it's not. Like sorry, your deal wasn't as memorable as you think it is, but whatever." Um,
Well, and that's probably a syndrome also of so many of these brokers are just getting yanked around by people who are not actually doing stuff. And so
mhm.
they, I know from the commercial brokers I've talked to, they're like, there's just a lot of people that call and aren't actually serious. So, when they come across someone who's actually doing deals, it's kind of like a shock to them.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that's the same, right? It's like put yourself in their shoes. Like it's same with the like talking about creative whatever. Like they think that they're like their primary thing is they want to broker the deal. They want to sell the deal. They don't get paid until it's sold. So they if they can help it, they don't want to waste time on bullshit. So what else you guys got? What else you want me to
Hey Tim, I wanted to ask you a question. I saw one. I'll put the link right here in the chat.
Mhm.
But it's a 24 unit total, but it's across 3 lots. It's a 16 unit, a 4 unit, and then another 4 unit.
Mhm.
It's fully rented. It's a owner owned park homes. Like
Mhm.
so. But is it weird that it's over 3 lots or? And I know you mentioned like, hey, I like 40 and above.
Mhm.
But just if it's like the first one, right? Is that rule still apply or what do you think?
40 and above is for me.
Okay.
So like, and honestly, so I just did, uh, so, I asked Jennifer to marry me on Saturday, and then on Sunday morning we woke up, we stayed in a really nice, kind of, nice Airbnb, like overlooking outside of Asheville, North Carolina. So beautiful. Like it was up on this mountain in this like crazy treacherous road. But anyway, I wake up earlier than her. So I woke up and I had the windows open and it was all foggy and whatnot. It was like a perfect day. And so I'm writing down my goals for 2024. And so my goals were I want to close 4 big, like 100 plus portfolio, not portfolios, 100 plus parks, 100 plus pad parks, which is big for me. It's not big for, you know, Jim and people Jim works with. That's like, what's the minimum you guys look at, Jim?
Me personally, I'll go with one of the small ones,
No,
but
no, no, I know, but
yeah,
open door. What's the smallest you guys
100,
do?
100 lots is the absolute smallest we'll go.
Yeah, yeah. So, but like, I mean, when I started, yeah, shit, dude, I would look at anything. My first was a 36, but I didn't have any like, there was no rhyme or reason to it other than like they've been trying to sell this for a while and it's relatively close to where I am. So I think like the more I do, the bigger I want to be, and like the I don't want to look at stuff like this, like if it's just me. But like another part of my goal, though, for next year is to take down 6 properties like this with people who are interested, who can put the time in and who I can show. Freddie, if you're like all about this shit, let's fucking take it down, bro.
Let's do it, dude. Yeah. I honestly I've been absent for like the last 2 months, I think, because I got really sick and then I just was like, dude, I could have died and let's just go big. So yeah, that's why I'm looking. And I know you're available for this. So I was just looking and I'm like, let me send him one that I think is solid.
Yeah, sweet. Let's look. Okay. So remind me where you live, Freddie.
I live in LA.
Mm,
Soon to
that's right.
be soon to move out within the next 12 to 18 months. So we'll see.
Where are you gonna go?
I don't know yet. I finally convinced my wife, like, hey, if we want to get financially free, it'll be a lot faster if we leave California, right? And then she
Yeah,
just
dude.
kind of the light bulb, and there you go.
Yeah. Dude, California just doesn't have the value for me. Like it was a good place to grow up, but man, every time I go back, I'm like, what are you guys like? You're hustling for what? You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been wanting to get, I actually am in talks with someone right now. I got, he is a wholesaler. He's got 100 unit, 116 actually outside of Tuscaloosa. So that'd be interesting.
Okay.
So let's see, value add, blah, 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 24 lots on 4 separate parcels. Each side, are they relatively close? The
Yeah.
parcel?
If you scroll through the photos, it'll give you a map of where they are.
Individually metered, on-site management in place, sure, recent owners, which is currently in the state. Okay, okay. Yeah, bro. Let's see, what do we
Freddie,
got?
have you called the broker yet?
No, I literally just found it right now. But given
Yes.
that the number of pads, the cost, and like it's close to Tuscaloosa, and that they're all, you know, kind of owner owned, I just thought like, hey, if I'm on this call, let's see what Tim has to say.
Yeah, this looks sweet.
Yeah.
Tim, you're not a fan of owner-owned homes, right? So you would like sell those, like
Probably.
package them up and sell them to the people who
Yeah,
live in it?
probably. So in this last park that I just closed, I closed with Vanderbilt Mortgage, and I don't know if they're the biggest, but they're one of the biggest mobile home park lenders, and they lent on the homes as well as the land. And like, I'd never done that before. But like in their contract, in the closing docs, it's like you cannot sell any of the homes for less than 110% of the value. And if you do sell it for that, all that money has to go directly to Vanderbilt. And so this is going to be my first, like, let's see how frustrated I get with keeping them as park owned homes.
That's a Warren Buffett company, right?
Yeah,
It's Berkshire.
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're
How
all
do they-
tenant owned, this one. Sorry, go ahead.
they're all tenant owned.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay. Yeah. I got some
Oh, they're
ideas.
tenant owned. I didn't see that. I thought it said park owned.
Yeah, I thought so too. But
How does Vanderbilt value the
Yeah.
home? Sorry, off topic, but no, I'm
I don't know,
curious.
dude. I
Like,
so
are they using NADA or?
I mean, so it's just the appraiser, right? And I'd have to look through the appraisal. I'm not good at like going over details. I saw appraisal I bought for 1.6, appraisal came in at 1.64. Perfect. That's all I care about. So I'd have to like dig through.
So what they valued it when you purchased it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Funny how appraisals come in, like that.
So-
Oh my gosh, it's appraising for exactly what you're buying it for.
So what do
Um,
you look for before you call the broker, Tim? Like on this
This?
one specifically?
So I'm wondering, I want to see the T12. I want to know what lot rent is. I want to make sure that they're all tenant-owned homes. I want to see what, I mean, he says it's all individually metered for water and sewer, but I want to, or it says water, electricity. I'm guessing this is either city or county water and septic, but like that'll be my question, like what's the water sewer situation? Who owns the roads? This is like not even a road, so it's, well, yeah, I mean, maybe this is county owned roads, maybe. Okay, I see. Yeah, I mean, it's close-ish, so it looks nice. Yeah.
Does it say what the utilities are?
No, it just says it's individually metered.
Yeah.
Water
Individually
and
metered.
electricity. So, yeah, I'll call them and be like, let's make a deal.
Right on.
So I like this price per pad is $16,000. So I mean, if it's, renting for 200 or so, hopefully minimum 200 for lot rent, then it seems like a deal. It's definitely going to be difficult to finance. Well, not difficult. It'll be like you call all the parks around or call all the banks around this park and see who's got appetite for it, So it's like my first park. I got 19 no's for 1 yes, right? So that's what this will be. Okay, that's
Do you have any national lenders that'll bank
not
park
this
pretty much anywhere?
not this small. No, it's loan size of $1 million plus.
Okay.
Hey, and Tim, real quick, is it difficult because why would you say it's difficult for financing? Is it because the number of pads? Is that just why? Or the loan itself?
Yeah, because so like all the big lenders aren't going to look at it because it's not worth their time because
Got
it's
it.
going to take the same amount of time to close this as it would a $5 million deal, just about at least, right? So they'd be making so little, and like the loan brokers I work with don't want to mess with something if the loan's less than $1 million because again, it's the same amount of work. So it'll be I don't know. That and yeah, like no one likes mobile home parks. So like I just accept it, right? So there you're gonna hear a ton of no's. And so when I called banks for something like this, I'd be like, hey, can I just wondering if you guys lend on mobile home parks? And if yes, do you have any in your portfolio? Um, and that's it. And then if they say no, just be like, any local banks that might. So who said 10x is easier than 2x, by the way? Freddie. Yeah, that's a good book. I liked it. I
I'm
dug
reading it right now.
It's
It's
a good one,
awesome.
dude. Other questions before we call this guy? Or yeah, guy. Yeah,
Let's get him on the phone.
yeah, dude. And then if you guys like type any question, no, if you type any questions like when we're going, I could ask.
This is awesome, by the way, Tim. I'm having fun.
Oh, thanks, dude. I'm glad.
Yeah, same, dude.
I'm glad. I got up this morning. I was like, there's probably going to be no one there. So do I even want to do this? But I'm glad you guys are here.
Well, I've been looking forward to it this whole time, and then it feels like every time it's like, oh, this giant life event just came up. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Neil Bright with Partners Realty. I am unable to get to my phone right now. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message, and I will return your call shortly. Thank you.
Hey, Neil. This is Tim Woodbridge. I see the lots in Golden Acres, little 24 pad, mobile home park. Just had a few questions for you about it. If you could give me a call back whenever you get a chance. My number is 928-460-0602. I live in Charleston, South Carolina, but I do have a much bigger park under contract right now in Tuscaloosa, so this might be a perfect acquisition. Anyway, if you wouldn't mind, give me a call back whenever you get a chance. Again, 928-460-0602. Thank you much. We shall see.
Is there another listing agent on this, or is it just one?
Just one.
I found that oftentimes too. There's like a co-listing agent, and one doesn't know anything about it, and the other one knows everything.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
know. And you see like all of the names and you're like, why? Why don't you just
Yeah.
have one? So,
I feel like what happens with that is like one agent knows the person that's selling it, and they're like, I know nothing about this. Let's have a co-listing agent deal with everything, and I get half the commission.
and I would do the same thing. I'd do the same exact thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, so
What would the value add look like on that? Like it honestly looks really rough.
I wouldn't
Would you
value
go
it.
in and
Yeah,
just
maybe.
keep it as it is
Just
and
leave it,
let it
yeah.
rock?
Maybe
Yeah.
that road or something.
Maybe, dude. But like,
If it's not like county or city owned or something.
yeah. So remember also like when we're talking to that last guy and we're talking about the apartments, he's like, oh, I'd put like $5,000 into it. It's like you wouldn't really want to put more into it because it's, you're not getting the value out of it. Like if it's, it's like you don't put granite countertops in a trailer.
Yeah.
unless you're in one of Jim's like super fancy ass parks, 150
They're not
lots, and
fancy.
it's like a Sun Communities sort of or Yes Communities rather place. But even no, you don't do that. So it's like don't make it too nice, or you're not going to get the value out.
That
Um,
median income's great.
Yeah.
population, but it's in the Tuscaloosa metro. So
Mhm.
Median income is 50 grand and the median home price is 172. That sounds like a good place to live.
yeah, if you like know people, but whatever. I'm a city boy. I'm from Southern California, so
I mean,
I
imagine
think
making per year a fourth of what your house costs. That'd be pretty sick.
it would be pretty sick. So this is interesting. I mean, you know,
Oh, the studio and one bedroom's the same. Or about.
exactly. Well, that and it's like it's a lot more than I thought, So
Mhm.
like I was hoping, oh, hopefully that's 200, it's currently 200 lot rent, $200 a month. But man, if it's really that much, and I mean, of course, you do some market research, but I'd say, if you could push $400, shit,
Mhm.
you'd be making, you'd be, I mean, over time, right? So over 5 years, if you could get to $400,
So is
uh,
lot rent typically going to be half of a one bed? What's
A
your
studio.
formulation there?
I do half of a studio.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, it's a rough number, so don't, it's definitely a rough number, but it gives me a solid starting place.
So Tim, like overall, obviously like 24 pads is not ideal, right? Like for you, right? But are the signals from that listing like, tenant owned homes and, county road and, all that stuff, is that all good stuff like that, good indicators?
Yeah. You could run this pretty lean.
Okay.
Um, um,
what are your
espe-
thoughts? Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, especially if they've been there for a long time, you could probably run it pretty lean.
Yeah, the fact that it says hands off for a while means I'm assuming some deferred maintenance, some, it says it's on 10 acres, so there might be ability to do some little, you know, not too costly value adds. And I don't know, I'm just kind of thinking out loud, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be storage or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you
How
think,
would you
Jim?
manage something like this remotely?
Same way I do everything else. Get them on Buildium and give them pay near me slips if they don't know how, like they don't have email addresses and whatnot, they can get the slips to go pay at like Walmart. So let's see, how far is this to Walmart, right?
I was gonna say call Tim.
Yeah. But like, so that's also, that's the last few months as I've been building out this property management company, like the operations side of my business. I went to Chicago to like a 2-day like Sharper Business Solutions event, like specifically to be like, how do I build this out? And so that's what I'm working on now. Let's see.
What are your thoughts on two things? One, it's got to be private utilities. So with a 24 lot community, I mean, you got to replace septic, 10 to 12 grand. You got to replace a well. Who knows? I don't know how deep the water table is there, but so you could be cash flowing great, and then one major repair. And if you're on 3 different lots,
Mm.
24, I mean, how many septic systems do you have? How many wells do you have?
Mhm.
So how, like you'd have to really investigate when were they ever, if they were ever replaced, and kind of what are their condition, how many years do you think you can get out of them, and you have to make sure you maintain them. And the other thing is the trees. I don't know, trees have always been
Oh
our
yeah,
enemy.
yeah.
What I'm saying? Like, and you can see in some of these pictures, like they're getting close to the homes and they could start
Yeah.
lifting the homes. So you gotta not only take down the large trees, but reset homes.
I mean, those are two solid reasons why somebody would want to get out of this, right? Like sell.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
That could be why the price is so low. The other thing that I'm seeing, sorry, and this is just me with what I know, but the homes do look old. They've got some 70s homes in here, maybe even some 60s.
Mhm.
So you're gonna end up, when they vacate, you may have people just abandoning the homes, and then you're not gonna be able to just rehab them. It's gonna be, it'd be 30 grand to rehab a home that's worth 5. So
Yeah.
don't
That's
think we
true, that's
haven't done it. So and so you'd have to really look into what are the what do they require for infilling homes? Are they open to allowing for infilling homes? Not that they can stop you, but they can surely make it difficult.
Yeah,
As far as
yeah.
like the local municipality, and then are they now requiring concrete? This is down south, so probably not. But I just don't know Alabama's rules. We don't have any communities in Alabama, but
Yeah.
all those things you'd really want to dig into before, because all of a sudden if you learn, oh, they require a full 6-inch concrete slab that's going to cost you 12 grand, with
Yeah.
reinforced, it just, that's the stuff we run into. So you just gotta know what your costs are going to be on the front end and be prepared for them. I'm not
Thanks for
saying that
that,
this is
Jim.
out of the question, because I mean, $390,000 for 24 lots sounds real good on the front end. So
No, that's that totally fair. I love that, Jim. Thank you for that.
yeah.
So
Well,
it kind of seems like, hey, if you can get something, just bigger, because I mean, like honestly, you meant like I put 2x is easier than 10x. So kind of seems like, if you can kind of partner with somebody, especially like yourself, right, Tim? It's the same amount of work, right? Minus whatever maintenance or improvements you have to make, right?
it's easier to run bigger.
Okay.
So I'm not
It's
saying don't
easier
go after
because
this for sure, but like write down, all the things Jim said, because
I did. Yeah, I did.
then we can, say then like it becomes different than like, oh, I want to beat you up over price. It's like, hey, can you guys maybe finance this? Because we're gonna have to put up some serious money to take care of trees, and also like, depending on the water sewer situation, we're gonna have to have all this like capital to make this nice. So that's what excites me, like creative deal structuring. It like their problem is what is it's what's it called? An estate sale, right?
Yeah.
Is that yeah. So it's like, okay, like their problem is they just don't want to deal with it. Okay, well, like, can you finance it for a couple years? How can we get in this for lower capital out of pocket so we can reserve the capital for things that truly matter?
The other thing, when you talk about remote management, is if Tim has 100 something lot community within an hour of here, I don't know, Tim, how you run yours, but we would have a community manager who has an office on site and is going to be in that 100 lot community every weekday. And so, but they could potentially split their time, and at least once a week, they're driving through this community as a 24 lot. And so you're utilizing that community manager, and you have your one person who's your boots on the ground, keeping an eye on things, makes the connections with the contractors, and is that go-to person locally. Whereas if you buy this 24 pad and you don't have that boots on the ground, you got to build it. And now like you got to find somebody who's willing to, once a week or once a month go through there. But what are you gonna give them, $50 a week just to do that? Like it's just harder. Whereas you could actually have it be somebody's primary income to manage 100 something lot park, and then have this be kind of an add-on that they take care of. So
That's
That's
true. That's yeah. So
that's exactly why I'm
Thanks,
looking
Jim.
for 200 more storage units, because I have a 75 unit and I'm over there every week because it's not big enough for me to pay someone. It doesn't make enough money. I have to go over every week, because if I pay somebody, I won't make money. And that doesn't make any sense. So if I can get 200 more units, I can have them do both facilities, and then it makes sense to pay someone to manage 275 units.
absolutely.
same with me on my first park. I was there like all the time. This like same public service from like keeps calling me, so I'm gonna get out of here, guys, and take this. So
All right.
Thank you,
Great.
Tim.
All right.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim, too. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye.
Hey, Jim, do you mind if I reach out to you? Where's the best place to find you?
hey, this is Tim.
Absolutely.
Hi.
I'll put my number in the chat. I'm
Yes,
on the
man.
Facebook group too. Are you Action Academy or you just know
I'm in
Tim?
Action Academy. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in there too. So
Oh, sweet.
I'll put my number in here. Text me and I'll text you my my Calendly and then
Okay.
just throw a meeting on. We'll chat. For
Great.
sure.
All right, let me do that
Cool.
before Tim kicks us out. Thanks, man. I'll reach out.
All right. Have a good one. Yep.